Hi, everybody. I just want you to remember, with pride, we stand together.
We are a proud community, and there is a reason that I tell our stories on my show. We cannot forget where our pride was born, where it needs to be today, and where it will take us in the future. Injustice must be brought to justice. Fight together, stand as one, and remember your pride, because with pride, we stand together.
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 With pride, we stand together. Hey Vivas, and welcome to another episode of Viva Aaliyah. We are so excited. I have two legends on the show today. One that I have been dying to talk to, and one that I just met a few months ago, but she is already making her mark in the R&B and rap community. I cannot wait to talk to both of them. We are celebrating a wonderful day today. We learned that Juneteenth has been made an official holiday, and I wanted to have a specific Juneteenth show to hear Black entertainers talk about their stories. I am going to do my best to only listen today. I will ask the questions that I sent them, but this is their time to shine. I really want these two entertainers, these two beautiful people to tell their stories. But we can't stop at just allowing Juneteenth to be passed. We have to continue to fight for racial justice, racial equality, for LGBTQ rights. We have to make sure that this isn't the end point, that this is just a jumping point for us. So all of us who are not a part of the Black community, we need to stand with our Black brothers and sisters, and we need to make sure that their stories are heard, their stories are told, and that we go to the forefront. And we are the plow that pushes through those barriers for them so that they can walk down their paths. That is what today's show is about. So without further ado, I'm going to bring a literal living legend on the show. She has been in the drag community for quite some time, and just an inspiration to so many of us. She is going to tell her story here on Viva Aaliyah, and this is Tiffany Middlesexx.
Hey!
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so excited to be able to finally interview you. I've been meaning to reach out for quite some time.
I'm glad to be here.
You are just such a wonderful person and such a great entertainer, and you've had such a crazy, long, and beautiful career. I can't wait to hear about it. I do have to ask you my normal question for my guests on the show, and that is, what is in your glass today? What are we drinking?
Well, it looks like water, but that's all I'm going to say. It's water.
So a little...
It could be gin, but it's water.
A little Middlesex surprise in the bottle.
Absolutely. There
we go. I love it. Like I said, I'm just going to be here to ask questions, and I'm just going to let you take it away on the story. So this is... You're an icon in our community. You've been around for quite some time. Talk to me about your start in the drag world.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was a teenager back in Toledo, Ohio. That's my hometown. And I was studying the dance because I wanted to be a Broadway dancer. So I started studying dance at about 7 years old. And after about 10 years of studying dance, I went to a bar, snuck in because I was underage, and I saw a drag show. And I said, I can do that. And so next thing I know, a friend of mine put me in drag and entered a drag contest when I was 15 years old. And I won the contest and I got the drag bug. And ever since then, I've just wanted to entertain. I love to entertain. And so I started doing drag and I put my hopes of a Broadway career on hold, which I have regretted every now and then because I would love choreography. I would much rather do choreography than perform any day. I love to choreograph. And my career just took off and it's been going good and I've no complaints. I've had a happy life. I've had some stumbles along the way, some big health scares constantly. That's the one bad thing, but I can't complain. God has given me a good life.
And you started your career in Columbus, Ohio. Do you mind asking?
Toledo,
Ohio. I'm sorry. In Toledo, Ohio. Do you mind me asking which year that you started your career in?
1974.
1974. That is quite the career.
73 or 74. I was 15, and then when I really got going, I was 18. Is when I moved out of my home. That's when I started professionally. And I left Toledo and I went to Detroit. That's when I really got. I changed my name to Tiffany Middlesexx, and that's when my career took off. And after Detroit, I've lived like all over the country. I've lived in Cleveland. I lived in Texas. I lived in Georgia. I've been everywhere.
Wow. Yes.
Oh, I like her.
I like her too. You honestly look quite the same. You have all those features still. You didn't lose any of the features, so you're still doing great. So can I ask, who was that first queen who gave Tiffany her start?
Let me see. Who was the very first one? Well, I'm going to tell you the first real drag queen that I really envied was Chili Pepper. She's now at the Baton in Chicago. At this time, she was at, it was called the Gold Dollar in Detroit. And we used to go up there all the time to see her, and I just envied her. She was beautiful. She was talented, and I just fell in love with her. She was always really nice to me, and I idolized her, and she gave me a lot of good tips. And also a friend of mine, Jennifer Fox, a former Miss Gay America. You know Jennifer?
Yeah, she's a great friend of Viva Aaliyah.
Oh, Jennifer, Bobby was my best friend, my best buddy. He used to make my costumes for me. He gave me one of the biggest numbers in my career, the hair medley. It was called the hair medley. Bobby gave me the song by Melba Moore, and he showed me how it should be done, and I did. And it was a hit within my career for years. Standing ovations, Bobby Bruno gave me that. And I've always loved him for that. I've always remembered that. And we were good friends, and he used to sew for me, and I miss him a lot. I talk to him on Facebook every now and then, but that's a great queen right there, Bobby.
Yeah, Miss Jennifer Fox is such a wonderful, wonderful person, and
yes,
she's been such a great inspiration to so many of us, just like you have.
Yes, she has.
So you said you had a drag name before Tiffany Middlesexx.
Geraldine Lamar Star. Geraldine Lamar Star. And Twyla Star stole my star after I became Middlesex.
Wow.
She took my last name. She's my good buddy. She's my longest friends. I've known her longer than anybody, any of my friends. She's a really good person too. But yeah, she took my whole name, the bitch.
And how did you come up with Tiffany Middlesexx?
There was a character on, I think it was, I'm not sure now, what was it? It was one of the soaps back then. And her name was Tiffany Whitney. I can't remember the soap. As the World Turns, I'm not sure if anybody. So I loved the Tiffany. I didn't like the Whitney, but I loved the Tiffany. So I became Tiffany for a while. And then I was going home, driving this boy home, and he was giving me directions to take him on. He said, oh, Tiffany, turn left here on Middlesex. And Tiffany Middlesex, it just clicked. And from there on, I became Tiffany Middlesex, but I added an X, to make it special.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Celebrity sensation.
That's 1972. That's wonderful. Wow.
That's back there, girl.
Glamorous. You've been a long time entertainer and competitor. Do you have what is one of your fondest memories of traveling and entertaining?
One of my fondest memories, I'll tell you what one of my fondest memories, it was a few years ago. I was going down in Sarasota. They asked me to come down and do this AIDS benefit for them. And I've been a great believer in helping with AIDS. I worked with the Tampa Society for a while, and back in the day, I did thousands and thousands of benefits to raise money for AIDS and all that. So I was doing Sarasota to do this one show. And I remember that I got so emotional, people, getting up and telling their stories. And then this is in a bar setting, telling stories. So by the time I got on, they had saved me for that. I got a little liquor. I guess from what they tell me, I did the show of my life, that I went out there and I just carried on. I made about $400 for AIDS and gave it back to them. And that's one of my fondest memories, because it was not a big bar, it was a little bar, but the people there were so warm, and and they were just so excited that I was there. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but they were so excited, and that's just one of my good memories.
That's wonderful. Do you, oh, what a photo. Yes, glam. Also love this hat. Is there a way for the rest of us to get a Tiff hat?
I don't know. Should I give? Well, I got it at the mall. There's a store at the mall at West Shore Mall here, which is closing in Tampa. So all the Tampa people are laughing right now. And I just went in there, and they had these hats, and you could get anything pressed on it that you wanted. And so I said, why don't I get my initials pressed on there? And I've had this hat for years. It's just that easy. Just go to the mall and they'll press them on for you. It's just a Tiff hat. I wear this all the time.
We need to get you some Tiffany Middlesexx merchandise.
Yes, girl, I'm down with that. I see all these queens doing that. Somebody better give me a call.
I'm giving you a call right now. We're gonna get you some merch.
Yes, girl, I would love some merch. Yes, indeed.
So all of you Vivas out there watching, get ready. Some Tiff merch is coming out.
Merch is coming.
We're gonna have some Tiffany Middlesexx merch for everybody.
Yes.
Did you find that working as a queen of color, it was harder to kind of make your mark in the entertainment world, or did you find that in the drag community it was more warm and welcoming?
No. Unfortunately, I did not find it warm and welcoming. And there's times I went to some clubs, and there's a thing of jealousy that unfortunately does run through our community. Instead of building a girl up who's doing good, let's build her up. We tend to, she wasn't that pretty, that number wasn't that good. We tend to try to want to bring ourselves down, but we should be building ourselves up. And I don't know, some girls just didn't take to me, because a lot of times because I was a boy queen, and it was a little unusual. The places I worked, most of all the queens were trans, and a lot of times I was the only boy queen in the shows, 90% of the time. And sometimes it made me feel a little uneasy, but for the most part, most of the people I worked with have been very, very welcoming, very giving. And I've become friends with and have worked with some of the biggest names in the business, Tiffany, Ariagas, Dana, Douglas, just to go on and on, to tons of them as Floridas. And we need to be more accepting of people that are just getting started. Well, let's help those people. Let's not, oh, please, she ain't gonna be nothing. We kind of love to stab in the back, and that's not good. Because what you're doing to you, somebody's doing to them.
Yeah. Look at you going.
Girl, go finger.
Well,
go figure.
Who are some of the up and coming queens that you're looking at, or do you have some of them in your lineage?
Yeah, there's there's a girl. She's got one. I can't remember her. But I can't remember her name. Let's see. I don't know a lot of the young girls by name. Oh, let's see. I can't remember. My memory's real bad. But I just watch her in a show with. I can't remember her name. There's a few of them, but I can't remember names right now. I'm saying my memory is so bad.
Go to the family.
No.
What was it?
Go to the family.
Oh, I can't remember.
No problem.
They work. I know they work over with Esme on Sundays. A lot of those girls do. Shout out to my daughter Esme. That's my baby.
How many children do you have?
Too many. Too many, girl. I think I got about 12. 12. Yeah, I got about 12. Yeah. Stephanie Shapay was my first child. Bob Taylor's a child of mine, and that's my ace boom coup. Me and Bob, just like that. And then I got Tiffany McCrae is there, and a whole lot of kids. I got about 12 of them.
Wow.
That's enough.
That's enough? No more?
No more. That's I love them too. They're good kids. Every now and then you gotta hit one of them bitches. And then they go, abuse. And I say, well, I'll do abuse. So it's okay.
Well, I do have another question for you, and that's is there anything coming up for you? Should we be looking out for anything other than merch? We have merch coming out, and I will follow through on that. I promise you. Okay. But is there anything that is coming up for Tiffany? Are you going to be out viewing shows anywhere?
Oh, no, not doing shows. I retired about 12 years ago, but I've done a sprinkling of shows every now and then for my church to raise money for my church. And I did a farewell to Never Do Another Drag Show on Facebook about a year ago, and that was it turned out, I did it in celebration of my 40 years at the Miss Florida. I came out of retirement to do a show for that day, and it was just wonderful. My very, 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 very last appearance anywhere would be, I'm going back to the Miss Florida pageant this year, which I haven't been back in years because of my health. But I've been feeling good for the last year or so. My doctor's visits have been great. I just went the other day. So I'm going to go back to Miss Florida this year. I'm not going to perform, but I'm going to do something I haven't did at Miss Florida in the last 3 visits I've been. I'm going to appear in drag for this very last time. Your very last time to see me in drag for the rest of my life. It's going to be
Miss
Florida pageant, yeah.
So, do you know when that is?
October. I don't know. It's in October.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for it, and everybody that wants to see Miss Tiffany Middlesexx in drag can check her out at the Miss Florida pageant. Everybody out there, I just want to pay my respects. I want to give my respects to you. You have paid for so many of us. You have given so many of us a path to walk around.
Oh, girl, don't stop me crying.
I cannot thank you enough for that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I don't think I've done that much, but all I've done is, I've tried to help people, because when I got started, I didn't have help. I didn't have people that were really helping me. So I try to do it and to help who I can. Young queens talk to me. They always want to know how to get started, and I do my best because I want to help people, because people didn't help me, and I know how it feels to, to be left out like that. And I'll never do that. I did a lot of work for AIDS back when the pandemic was going on, raised a lot of money, and I'm really proud of that. That's one of the things. The thing I'm proudest of, believe it or not, is not my drag stardom. It's what I did fighting AIDS back in the day. All the money I raised, all the places I went, and yeah, to me, that's my greatest achievement, not drag.
Wow, you've made a mark on quite a few of us, and I just thank you for all of your work.
Thank you.
I am just so honored to be able to interview you, but I can't thank you enough for being here.
Well, I'm so glad you asked me. I'm really, because I enjoyed the show I saw with Cezanne. I think that was my first show that I saw, and I enjoyed it. You're doing great work here. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Miss Tiffany Middlesexx, I'm going to have both of my guests, you and Stormy Maya, back at the end of the show.
Okay.
So for right now, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to hear about our sponsors, and then I'm going to come back with Stormy Maya, and then we will come back together.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Here's a brief word about our sponsors.
Okay.
Viva Aaliyah is proudly sponsored by Big Girl Nails by Coco. For all of your nail needs, check out at Big Girl Nails by Coco on Instagram. Viva Aaliyah is proudly sponsored by Fierce Drag Jewels. For all of your sparkly needs, check out fiercedragjewels.com. Fierce Drag Jewels is also the crown and jewelry sponsor for the Viva Entertainer Pageant 2021.
All right, that was a beautiful interview with one of the queens that I look up to, Miss Tiffany Middlesexx. We are about to bring another queen on, honey. She is making her mark in the R&B and rap world. She has been such a dear friend of mine already, and we haven't even had the chance to meet in person. We've just been kind of messaging back and forth and just being sisters together. But she is a performance artist, and I really wanted to get her point of view on Viva Aaliyah. So give it up for Stormy Maya. Hey, Queen. How are you? Oh, I think you're, you might be on mute. Let's make.
Oh, there I am.
Here we go.
I have my bag.
Ah! I'm so excited to talk to you.
Nice to meet you. And I also have my cup.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Campa. Come on. I will say they have nothing on what you have, but
I think it's modeled after me, to be honest.
Okay, there we go. Modeled after you. How have you been, girl?
I have been extremely booked and busy since I've been here in Los Angeles, which is a blessing. And, obviously gets overwhelming, but I can't complain because it's amazing, especially after COVID. So I'm happy.
Booked and blessed.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to start you off the same way I started Miss Tiffany off in the interview, and that is, what is in your glass? Do you have anything to drink? What are we sipping on?
So I don't drink alcohol, but I have some some water in here.
Totally fine, honey. We have to stay hydrated. Keep that voice.
That's
right.
Up so fancy to make up for the fact that there's nothing fancy in it.
That's okay. Like I said, we celebrate all of our friends who do not drink on the show, so it's totally fine. I'm going to jump into the interview. I want to know a little bit more about you and what makes you you, because I am in love with you. Your music is so amazing to me, and it just gives me life and all the feels. The only thing I was upset about is that I didn't get in for your Cash Addict challenge. I still need to do that. I'm going to send you a video either way. So when did you start your career as a performance artist? What got you into all of this?
So I honestly got into acting first. So that's performance, of course, right? Mm-hmm. And I started off in theater. And so I was doing theater around New York City starting in 2015. And that brought out the performer in me. And then by 2018, I had enough confidence to get into music. And It's obviously been a really hard journey because music is like very, very complicated versus like the acting industry. It's like a little bit more, it's a little bit more dangerous, I feel like. And I feel like it's a little bit more just like anybody can kind of get into it. So you don't really know who you're dealing with. It's not as regulated. So I've been just doing my own thing, you know, recently. And yeah.
I love that. Yeah, look at this. Look at this art that you've created, Mama. So you mentioned this, but yes, those nails. You've recently moved from New York City to LA. Does that mean we should expect more music from you? Was this to get the journey like going even further? What's up with that?
Well, I like to just kind of move around and build in different places. And so it was like, you know, I just wanted to go somewhere new. And, you know, since I've been in LA, I've been doing really well because I'm around new people and just new opportunities. So since I've been here, I already booked a movie, which I filmed like a day ago. So I've already got a supporting role in a movie. I'm already doing music videos out here. And it's awesome because now I have access to new models, new producers, new locations. And so it's great to like get out there and travel. So now like all the videos aren't the same and it's just like, you know, different vibes, you know what I mean? So yeah, definitely more music coming.
What is LA feeding you that New York was kind of lacking at the moment?
Well, like I'm a New Yorker. I love New York. And to me, nothing's ever going to beat New York. But I think that sometimes when we're in the same place that we're like from, that we can get a little too comfortable. And so I think it's great to be somewhere new because then you're kind of jumping into the shark water and you have to like figure everything out again. And that type of stuff motivates me personally. So when I have to like find new camera guys or find new locations or find new people to work with, that stuff like motivates me and excites me. And makes things not as like repetitive. So I'm definitely gonna go back to New York eventually in the future. But for right now, I think it's great if I build connections here and just kind of experience it. You know, I don't want to look back and be like, hey, I should have maybe did an LA thing so it's just an experience at this point.
I hear that. What has your experience been as a queen of color, a Black queen who is making music? Do you feel like you have a harder time in the industry breaking in?
Well, by the way, happy Juneteenth. Hey. I think that being a woman of color is harder in performing arts, even from acting. Like as far as an actress, I feel like the roles are very limited and we're very sexualized. And so like if you want to be a woman of color in acting nowadays, it's like tons of sex scenes, a lot of exploitation. And this is whether you have that type of look or not. That's just kind of what they're throwing at us. And the opportunities are just very, very slim. And you're like in competition with each other a lot. And there's just not as many roles. So in music, it's very similar as well. Where it's like, especially in hip hop and in rap, it's very sexist. And it's just more like you're expected to do a lot of things. People don't really respect you as much, I feel like. I think they expect us to like be sexual and like and put out with these guys. Now, I embrace sexuality and yes, I embrace like being a sex icon or all that type of stuff. But it's just sad when your peers that you work with, they know it's a part of a show. They know it's a facade. They know but they still don't see you past that. You know what I mean? Like I expect fans and people watching to obviously fall into the fantasy, but you know, I don't want my photographers or my producers or the guys I'm working beside. I don't want them to look at me and just think that that's all I am, you know?
Right.
That gets kind of exhausting because it's just like, hey, I just want to work, let's just make money. But yeah, I do feel like there's a lot less opportunities, especially, you know, with the darker skinned women as well. Like it just gets harder and harder.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been falling into doing more producing recently. So as far as producing my own films, directing my own films, doing my own shows, and that way I'm in more position of power when it comes to things, and I'm not just like these stereotypical roles. So yeah.
That's amazing. Ooh, look at that artwork. First of all, that's amazing. But what you're getting into is a world that is typically run by men and a lot of times run by white men production and all of that. And so it's empowering to hear that you're getting into that and you're really putting your foot down and able to kind of sway the scale a little bit and make sure that there's opportunity for more people of color and especially more women of color that are not given those opportunities in the future.
There's not many women directors, period, but like Black directors or like Asian or Latina, like women directing, it's very rare. And I also see even in acting, I get paid less than a lot of male counterparts. Even when people try to book me for shows, music or whatever, they really try to lowball you and they try to lower your value. Even the people that approach me to work with me, whether it's producers or A&Rs or other artists, like when they speak to me, it's like they like to lure me all the time. They like to say like, oh, you need me if you're gonna make it, or they'll say like, if you want to make it, you're gonna have to do this and that with me. And there's just a lot of disrespect that you have to deal with. And even when it comes to acting, it's the same way. Like I've had male directors who've approached me and been like, hey, if you want to be in my movies and if you want to be at this level, you're gonna have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you know, it's sad, but that's why I said I'm now trying to make my own stuff so I can avoid these types of things. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I would be honored to work with you one day. So let's work on a project together, Mama. Let's do it. Speaking of working on projects, when you're approaching your music, what is your creative process? How do you start, and then walk me through everything to finish?
So like I get really inspired off of like things that I see on social media. So like if people are saying a certain expression, or if I see like something trending, like a comedy skit or something like that, that type of stuff inspires me. And I also get inspired by different just women who own their sexuality, and I can like a lot of times think of ideas based off of them. So like I look up to like a Pam Grier, I look up to Pamela Anderson or Nicole Smith, whatever, like, you know, so women who are very sexual and proud of their sexuality. Sometimes I'll look at them and some of the movies they've been in or the characters they've played, and those types of things will inspire me in like titles or themes for videos. And then I'll kind of write around a theme or something that I want to do. So I'll do the theme first before I write it. So if I'm like, I want to write something about sugar daddies and like wanting older men to pay my bills, then I'll write a song around that, which is like daddy issues. So it's like the idea comes first, you know, like the theme comes first.
And then when you're in production and you're kind of like toggling in and out of being the writer versus the producer versus all of that, how do you switch those mindsets?
I will say it is very draining, especially since I do multiple lanes of music and the acting stuff. It can get overwhelming because a lot of times it does float over. For example, music videos, I'll go from obviously writing the music, recording it, all the artist stuff, and then I'll be the one producing the video as far as finding the casting, the locations, the ideas, the themes. I'll style it, everything down to a T. And then I'm directing the videos too. And just because like most people don't even know what my ideas are, my visions are, they don't really believe in what I have going on. So I have to do like everything myself. And like I said, there's not a lot of women and not a lot of women of color either. So I would just be handing over all my ideas about gold digging and being a bad bitch over to some like cis white guy who's gonna just not understand what the hell I'm talking about. And so like in order to keep the integrity of what I want to do, I have to just do a lot of things myself. And even with like the filmmaking, it's the same thing. Like I'll write, like I just did for Shark. I wrote the whole script for the movie. I produced it. I directed it. And then I handled all the post-production. And then I went and got it distributed. So I wear a lot of hats. And sometimes it is hard switching from one thing to another, especially if I have to be on camera and I have to direct. But I am a control freak, so it's actually better that I am doing everything.
Same. I hear that. And talk to us about what's coming up for you. What can we look out for? Is there any new music that we should be seeking, or any of your productions?
So I will say this, that recently I've just been kind of exhausted from music. I'm gonna continuously make it and still put things out, but I was more open to working with a lot of different people, and I've just had like a lot of bad experiences recently, so I'm just doing a lot of more things on my own. So I will be dropping singles, stuff like that, but all these collaborations that I had in mind, especially with like producers and stuff, a lot of it I'm not going through with because I just don't like the way like the guys were talking to me and approaching me. So I'll just be kind of, like I said, recording myself at home and more just dropping it as it comes. And as far as the filming, I'm doing tons of stuff with that. Currently, I'm producing a reality show. I am also producing and directing a feature film, and I'm going to be in it as well. So it's going to be crazy. And right now, starting on Monday, I'm doing a short film that I'm directing and wrote that I'm going to be doing for all the film circuits and stuff like that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff. I'm very busy since I've been here. And also I'm directing other people's music videos and other people's productions. So it's crazy. And I'm acting in people's stuff. Like I said, I just did a movie like a day ago, and it's called Angie's Curse, it's a feature film. And I play this girl Jackie in it. And so I'm like balancing being the actor, being the producer, being the director, and then with music. So hey, I like to stay busy, I'll be honest. So
you and I are definitely two peas in a pod. We're gonna have to talk about this more off screen, but I want to bring back our other guest, Miss Tiffany Middlesexx, and I have one last question for both of you. So, Miss Tiffany, if you are ready for us.
Sure.
There we are. First of all, I just want to say thank you both for being...
You're beautiful, by the way. She's beautiful.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
She's absolutely stunning.
I'm crazy for those nails.
I know. I'm trying to keep up over here.
Wear them every day, all day.
I want to thank both of you for being on the show. Both of you are people who have inspired me in different ways. Tiffany, you've been such an inspiration to the entire drag community. And Stormy, the first time I heard your song, what was the first song that Birthday Cake. Birthday Cake was the first song that I performed to. I have just like been obsessed with you in the way that you put your music out there. Today is an iconic day because Juneteenth was passed into law. We are now able to celebrate it as a national holiday.
Amen.
Tiffany, I'm going to ask you first. Do you have any advice out there for queens? And I say queens as the general queens. Anybody who wants to be a queen can be a queen. Queens of color that are out there just trying to make their mark in the world. Do you have any advice for queens that are trying to make their mark?
Well, just be yourself, be honest and be careful. It's not all fun and games out there, but if you got the drive and you want to do it, then go for it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Be your own biggest cheerleader.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And Stormy Maya, my sister, what is your word of advice for all those queens of color out there trying to make their mark in the world?
I would definitely say, I definitely agree with you as far as you have to be nice to yourself, because I have found myself, especially recently, sometimes I'm very cruel to myself and I'll compare. So I would say if you want to keep your mental health, if you can't really compare yourself to other people, I find myself sometimes doing this where I'll feel like I have to hit a certain mark by a certain age, or I'll feel like I have to accomplish A, B, C, D, or I'm not successful or I'm not good enough. And so I think that if someone can tackle that early on, it will definitely save them a lot of depression and just feeling bad about themselves all the time, because that's why I always stay busy. Because if I feel like if I'm not working for more than a day, I feel like I'm not accomplishing things. So my advice is for myself and for everyone else.
I appreciate both of you so much for being on the show and just being here and being present. I said this in the beginning of the show, but I want to say it again. As a non-Black artist, it is my job to make sure that Black artists have a path to go down, and that I am fighting alongside you and I am making your voices heard without being I say that with a little hesitation because you cannot be a savior. You have to be a friend and a pal and somebody that can be relied on. So
Absolutely.
don't ever take the stance of a savior complex, because that means that you're making it about you when you're trying to help somebody else create their path. Mm-hmm. You have to ask questions. We have to make sure that Black lives are valued just as much as any other lives, and that is what the Black Lives Movement was about.
Absolutely.
It was not saying Black lives are better than any other lives. It was saying that Black lives need to be valued as much as all other lives, and that is where people lost their mind, in my opinion, and didn't understand what was going on. But I am here to say that you two are two inspirations of mine, and I'm so blessed that you were able to tell your story on our show. And thank you for purchasing that merch. Make sure to check out Tiffany's merch once we get it out there. We are
really gonna get the merch?
We are really gonna do this merch, Tiffany.
I thought you were joking.
No, man. When I say something, we're on it.
Oh, okay.
We are on it. Thank you both so much. Thank you. It has been such a wonderful interview. I'm going to talk to both of you backstage here in a second. But Tiffany, do you have any last words before you sign off?
Thank you so much. I haven't been interviewed in so long. You made me feel so welcome. And your guest, I think she's fabulous. And I just had a ball. I had a little anticipation about being a little nervous. You made me feel so comfortable. And I love your show. People need to watch your show. Very informative.
Thank you, sweetheart. You're wonderful. Stormy, do you have any last words before you sign off? I know. I'm a little...
That was so cute. Oh, you guys are so cute. I'm thankful too. Thank you, girl. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. I think you are like amazing, and I love what you're doing. I love how consistent you are. I love that you're not like just doing bits and pieces, like you really are about it, and I really respect that. You're very consistent. You're always doing your shows. Get your sponsors. Like I see the vision, girl. You gonna be.
Girl, this could be on television, honey.
We're working on it. We are working on it.
This girl should be on television.
I see her having her own show, and like a Wendy Williams, but maybe with no shade, like a positive.
Yeah, without the shade.
Without the shade, without the drama, like maybe like a sisterhood type of vibe, you know.
Maybe a little shade.
Okay,
No, no, but again, thank you both. I am formally inviting both of you to be a part of season 4 because I wanted to have you on this show because it meant so much to me. You're both strong entertainers, but season 4 starts in September. And so as long as you're willing, I'm making a formal invitation for your own full episode with me on season 4.
I'm down.
Wonderful.
I'll see you.
Well, this is Tiffany Middlesexx and Stormy Maya. Thank you. I'll see you backstage here in just a second, my loves.
Thank you, girl.
All right, Vivas, that is another episode down next week. You will see our first pre-recorded segment, but you do not want to miss it. Mike Zacchio from TikTok is where I found him. He is a Drag Race super fan, a straight male that watches drag with his fiance and reacts to it. He's the cutest little guy. He's wonderful. I shouldn't say cutest little guy because I don't want to give him like a complex, but he's so wonderful and such a really, 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 really dear, nice guy. And I had a little surprise for him. I'm not going to tell y'all what that surprise was, but check it out next week on Viva Aaliyah. I will be traveling because, as all of you know, I am prepping to go to National Entertainer of the Year. And I am hopeful that we will take it and bring it back to Viva Aaliyah. We will take that crown, bring it right back here. I love you all, and we will see you next week with Mike. Viva Aaliyah.